This is the Essential L1 monophonic synthesizer by Donner. In this video we'll check out how it works, hear how it sounds, and discover if it might be a good choice for those looking to take their first steps into the world of hardware synthesizers. At first glance, the Essential L1 definitely makes an impression. Its all-black front panel with neat rows of sliders and switches is unmistakably inspired by the Roland SH-101 synthesizer, but with a modern twist. The L1 comes in two parts, a compact desktop synth module and the optional KB32M detachable keyboard. Held together magnetically, this setup is intended to offer the best of both worlds, a portable desktop module when you need it, or a standalone instrument when you want to play hands-on. It's an ambitious idea, but it's not without issues. The magnetic connection is fine when the synth sits on a flat surface, but it's less solid if you pick the unit up or rest it on your lap. Having said that, the keyboard itself is light plastic and equipped with tactile mini keys, and it feels solid enough and pleasantly responsive for its size. Of course, none of that matters unless the synthesizer sounds good, and Donner have done some impressive work here. The oscillator architecture is classic 101, pulse wave with PWM, saw, sub-oscillator and noise. Donner have also added a welcome triangle wave here, which opens up additional tonal variety. And of course, you can mix all of these parameters together to make your own interesting sounds. The filter is a low-pass design that self-oscillates beautifully. Push the resonance and you get that unmistakable acidic edge. Dial it back and the synth produces warm, rounded tones that sit well in a mix. One of the L1's biggest upgrades over the Roland SH-101 that it's emulating is the addition of a second ADSR envelope. Donner provides multiple amp trigger modes here. Envelope 2 mode allows independent control of filter and amp. Gate mode provides organ-like instant on-off response. Cycle mode gives you LFO-linked pulsing patterns. and drone mode gives you endless sustained sound with no key required. This flexibility is one of the Essential L1's strongest features. The L1 sequencer supports up to 64 steps, with storage for 128 patterns and 32 songs. The OLED screen, while tiny, helps manage sequences and songs really easily. There's also an Arpeggiator here with multiple modes. For solo jamming and quick inspiration, the step sequencer and Arpeggiator are really great fun and easy to get to grips with. It is a shame, however, that there's no patch memory. Sequences save, but sounds don't. Purists may argue that this is authentic to the Roland SH-101 experience, but with a digital screen on board, the omission feels like a wee bit of a missed opportunity, really. Connectivity-wise, on the back panel you get an external audio input, which is great for processing other instruments through the L1's filter. MIDI in and out, though only via 3.5mm inputs rather than 5-pin DIN or DIN inputs. A USB-C port, which is used for MIDI and firmware updates if you want to connect it to your computer. This does not power the synthesizer, however. 1/4" in, out and sustain pedal jack inputs, and the DC power output. You will need to hook this thing up to the mains as mentioned. It isn't bus powered. The KB32M keyboard adds its own sustained pedal input and can function as a USB MIDI controller in its own right, which is a nice touch. On top of the L1 are clock sync in and out, CV out, gate out, an external input, this goes to the low pass filter, and a headphone input. The L1 is compact and lightweight, which does make it really portable, but it does feel a little bit plasticky. The sliders do wobble a bit, though they do have a satisfying amount of resistance to them also. Knobs are firm and they have a satisfying click to them, as do the buttons. The OLED screen, while small, is easily readable and the menus are simple and easy to navigate. The Synth's layout, though, is superb. Like the Roland SH-101 that inspired it, the L1's left-to-right slider design is an intuitive masterclass in subtractive synthesis. Beginners can quickly grasp how oscillator shapes, filter settings, and envelopes interact, while experienced players will appreciate how fast it is to dial in tones. This immediacy is fantastic, and it makes crafting sounds with the Essential L1 just really good fun. One of the most important questions for any affordable monosynth is whether it can serve as a first step into hardware for someone coming from software instruments, apps or plugins, or perhaps someone with no prior synthesis background at all. On this front, the Donner Essential L1 actually makes a really strong case for itself. It is incredibly easy to use, something that I think beginners will really appreciate. You can just start at the oscillator section, raise a slider to hear a waveform, combine a saw with a sub, then move right to the filter, and you immediately grasp how each stage shapes the sound. And because of how tactile these sliders feel, you see and, well, feel the changes as you make them. Compared to diving through menus on a digital synth or plugin, the simplicity is just far more approachable. The sequencer and arpeggiator also help beginners create satisfying results quickly. You don't need to be a skilled keyboard player to get the L1 to sound great. Punch in a simple step sequence, tweak the filter, and you've got an instant riff. It teaches synthesis fundamentals in a hands-on way. Sounds authentic enough to satisfy those looking for a, well, authentic sound, and it comes with creative tools that can inspire without requiring years of experience. The detachable keyboard concept adds loads of versatility too, and is pretty much unique as far as I'm aware in the world of affordable synthesis. Yes, there are cheaper entry-level options that are maybe perhaps a bit simpler, but as a starting point into the world of analog synthesis, the L1 is accessible and, more importantly, sounds great. Let me know your thoughts on the Donner Essential L1 synthesizer down in the comments, and whether something like this is something you want to get your hands on now or in the future. If you found this video helpful, give that like button a good hard slap while you're down there. I really appreciate it, and it helps more people see it. And for another cool bit of hardware from Donner that you might want to check out, watch this video next.